I have been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for?
Should be interesting.
Well, hello there, Gladys. How long has it been? Well, not long enough, you sassy hussy. Boy, oh boy. Just when I thought you couldn't get any more insufferable, here you are starting off with a divorce story about how you blame your husband for everything that's gone wrong with your life. Whatever story this is must be one hell of a doozy if you're starting off with how great your husband is on quote-unquote paper. But of course, we all know that you're about to rip this poor guy yet another new one because of your spoiled nature. I mean, seriously, Gladys, I don't think I've ever once heard you say one nice thing about your husband or your children without feeling the need to take a massive steaming dump on their characters. You've practically made a career out of it. Even now, you give your husband a backhanded compliment. Even with all of the supporting and all of the protecting and all of the loving and all of the participating, you still feel the need to openly emasculate and insult the father of your children because even though he's doing so much, you gotta rip off his balls because he's not doing a little bit more. You've already opened up one hell of a can of worms there, Gladys, and I can't wait to rip this one apart.
But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us.
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
Well, golly gee willikers, Gladys. It's almost as if once you get married and have kids, your priorities kind of change in life. It's no longer about you, and you hate that. Now, the mental load argument is your loudest argument, and it's also the dumbest and most useless. What is the mental load at the end of the day? It's thinking. You hate your husband and deeply resent your children because as a mother, you have to think every once in a while. And thinking makes you cranky to the point where you need to blatantly talk smack about them on the internet. With this one statement that you've made, you've pretty much guaranteed that your children are going to want nothing to do with you the second they move out. I mean, let's just think about this for a second. How exactly do you expect them to react when they see this? Do you think that they're going to shower you with endless sympathy while you blame them and insult their father? Well, of course not, Gladys. You're straight up emotionally abusing all of them. And for what exactly? Because you had to push a button on a frickin' laundry machine and put some cups in a dishwasher. You clearly live a life of significant privilege and luxury, but you can't appreciate any of it because you have to, lift a finger every once in a while to support your family.
About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out.
Dishwasher? Don't we have one of those?
What do you mean?
I mean your hands in the sink.
I gotta hand it to you, Gladys. Just when I think you can't get any more stupid, you turn around and prove me wrong. I mean, let's just think about this for a second. You're complaining that your husband isn't doing enough and you're considering divorce, and the only way for things to get fixed and to save the marriage is only if he empties the dishwasher and takes out the garbage. I mean, from the looks of it, you're pissed off at him for even asking of it instead of just magically knowing that the future of his family hinges on him doing 2 basic kitchen chores. Gladys, that's not normal, sweetheart. If anything, that's a clear-cut sign that you're making your entire family's life a living hell. I mean, it's all in the language that you use, Gladys. You say that you're a project manager for the household, which means that you hold yourself in higher esteem than you do for the rest of your family. And we see it all the time with you. You want to hold dominion over everything that your family does to the point where if they aren't doing what you expect of them, that's grounds for public humiliation on the internet in the form of you shitting all over them. Gladys, if you were a project manager, you would be the one office manager that everybody makes fun of behind her back, but dreads being stuck in the elevator with.
That would make my life so much easier, because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time.
Well, what did the police say?
All right, Gladys, let me see if I can get this straight here. Your husband, who I'm assuming is human, forgot to do something. And because he forgot this task, you decided that the most rational and mature course of action was to get insanely dramatic over a full garbage can and then bitterly hold on to that grudge and constantly belittle him online. I mean, how does that make any sense, Gladys? I mean, I get it. Sure, it's frustrating when the garbage overflows. We've all been there, but there's a fine line between getting frustrated and, I don't know, accuse your husband of not caring about you. And I can tell by the look on your face that you have been dying to tell this story on the internet. You have been keeping score on every single thing your husband has done that you don't like. It's not even a transgression, but much like your existence, it was a mistake. But unlike your existence, it wasn't even a major one. Now, I know this is going to be incredibly hard for you to believe, Gladys, but just because your husband forgot to empty the dishwasher, it doesn't give you the right to completely ignore every single thing that he's done for you for the last 16 years. But I get it, Gladys. I mean, really, I do. You hold your life and the lives of everyone around you in such contempt that if you're not bitching, then you're practically doing nothing, am I right?
I mean, I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there.
Congratulations!
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. You put the diapers and the wipes in the bag? Well, that surely absolves you of all wrongdoing then, Gladys. So stunning, so brave. Your husband, who works his fingers to the bone, decided that his job, which pays the bills and ensures that you and his children have plenty to eat and keeps a roof over your head, just isn't enough to show that he cares, all because he didn't do that without throwing the freaking garbage out. If anybody's uncaring, it's you, Gladys. Your husband apologized and gave a rational explanation as to why it wasn't done. Mistakes happen, and your response was not to forgive him, but to throw a hissy fit and threaten divorce against him, all because he forgot to do an incredibly mundane and easily fixable task. And if this is how you react to him forgetting to do a household chore in the morning, then I kind of shudder at the thought of how you react when he folds the towels or when he puts that roll of toilet paper on the wall. Because God forbid he does something in a way that is unsanctioned by you, Gladys. After all, you rule his household with an iron fist, and the second something happens that you don't like, you start looking up friggin' divorce lawyers.
And I felt so frustrated, and I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him.
Liar, liar, liar.
But because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here.
You! I will think of you as I throw up. into the toilet.
Wow, I am telling you, Gladys, I feel like living with you for a week would be punishment for shoplifting in some countries, especially in those countries where drug smuggling will get you 18 consecutive life sentences without trial. I legitimately feel sorry for your husband. Not only do you completely diminish every single thing that he does, you say that the bar is so low for dads out there, so what he does do, what with his backbreaking labor and his valiant yet feeble attempts to try and make your life easier, don't even meet that low bar. I mean, how is that supposed to make your husband feel? Do you think that's going to motivate him to try to be the best husband and father he can be? Well, no, it's more like you're just wearing him down to the point where he has no life anymore. He's just gonna steer his way with you and then focus all of his energy on trying to be a father to his children because those kids need a parent, and you sure as hell aren't doing it, Gladys. And no, you're not doing your job, and I have no problem saying that. You're not loving or honoring your husband. You're not doing right by your children. You relentlessly break his balls as you straight up tell him that he's not doing enough when he's doing the best that he can to play a game where you're constantly moving the goalpost, but that's only when you're changing the rules whenever it's his turn to play.
And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it.
What's that, shit? It's a shit smell. Is that you? Smells like pop-pop.
Oh, sure, Gladys. I can tell that you're one big cancerous tumor of happiness and joy. Your husband must be insanely happy with his marriage if this is how you act when he forgets to take out the freaking garbage. But I get it. You have an image to uphold, so you have to backtrack and say that he is a good man, but it took him 18 months of relentless nagging in order for him to become the indentured servant that you wanted. You know, I hate to break it to you, Gladys, but you can't backtrack 16 years of psychological abuse with one statement where you pretend to say that he's a good man, but only because you changed him. This is a man who made it clear that he's willing to do whatever it takes to make your life easier, and the second it doesn't go your way, you literally threaten him with divorce and threaten to break up the family unless he relinquishes all control of his life over to you while you hold dominion over every single aspect of not only his life, but the lives of the children as well. And so long as he falls in line with your absurdity, then you'll be generous and pat him on the shoulder as his anniversary present. But that won't stop you from keeping score against him for every time you fly off the emotional handle because you had to think every once in a while.
But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores.
Liar, liar, liar.
She's saying that because truly, it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do.
You serious?
Oh, I'm sorry. The data proves it, huh? The almighty data just happens to prove that you do more work in the home than your husband does at his job? Well, it's amazing that you claim that the data is there but feel no obligation to actually provide any type of link or receipts to prove your point. It's data. It's there. Just look it up yourself. But that's only because you're dead wrong, Gladys. I happen to know for a fact that your husband has a high-paying job that's also physically dangerous. We know this because you've told us as such, and he's literally risking his life to provide for his children and your ungrateful ass. And if you have a man that's willing to put his life on the line to give you the life that he wants you to have, then at the very least, you can shut the hell up every once in a while. I mean, when was the last time you thanked this man for anything that he's done or recognized the things that he sacrificed? Have you ever? Well, Probably not. Doing so would require you to have a soul, and it looks like you sold yours for a big house and a TikTok following. And I'm willing to bet that this man recognizes you for every single thing that you do, mainly because you never shut up about it. He thanks you and buys you gifts and does everything he can to make your life easier, and you can't even do him the courtesy of not relentlessly busting his balls online to an audience of militant housewives. But that's only because you resent him so much, as he was the man that was available back in high school, but he wasn't the man that you wanted. That much is obvious.
They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope, and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Gladys, the only reason why these conversations are hard is because you insist on making them impossible. You don't want to have a conversation about this. You just want your husband to grovel at your feet, relinquish all control of his life, and beg for your forgiveness if he ever does something stupid, like tying his shoes in a way you deem inappropriate. I mean, you're even ripping into him for his hobbies. He's not allowed to train for marathons or have an afternoon to go play golf. So what exactly is he allowed to do, Gladys? Is he allowed to wipe his ass with the soft 3-ply toilet paper, or is that only something he's allowed to do on his birthday? I mean, what's his weekly ration of Q-tips? Because we all know you have one for him. Every single thing that this man does must be sanctioned, controlled, and monitored by you. And even if he does every single thing right in the way that you want, you will still find a reason to blatantly disrespect him on the internet because he had the gall for making you think every once in a while. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if you would be pissed off at him for taking a bullet for you because he didn't scream "no" loud enough when taking a hollow point in the chest for you. And in all honesty, all of us actually wish you went through with the divorce, Gladys, because it sounds to me like your marriage is longing for the sweet embrace of death. And this very special episode was brought to you by the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon. Gentlemen and gents, I say it 1,000 times over, and I will say it 1,000 times more. I cannot thank you enough for your generosity, and I salute you. All hail! And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents, and as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.